Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. You know, the more people find out about what Trump's been calling the big, beautiful bill, the less they like it. And it seems every time a Republican member of Congress meets with their own voters, they get more than an earful. And that's because all across the country, both in blue states and in red states, there are millions of voters fed up with Trump's attempts to subvert American democracy and the rule of law, as well as his wildly unpopular legislative agenda. Now, the core of the what you might call big bad bill is a scheme to gut Medicaid. The actual bill, plus Republicans refusing to renew expiring tax credits, could kick nearly 14 million people off their health insurance, according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, currently run by a Republican appointee that the Republicans have been slagging, of course. Now, all of that would pay for tax cuts for the very wealthy and big corporations. And don't forget, people inheriting estates of $20 million. Important they get one, too. Along the way, it is possible this also might trigger $500 billion in additional cuts to Medicare. Okay, all of that is very, very unpopular. People don't like it. Republicans know this and don't want to defend the bill. So most of them are either hiding from their constituents or lying to them about what the bill does, or both. And the small group of Republicans who are actually facing the people they are elected to represent, like I said, getting a real earful. We've been tracking these town halls in the House, but today it was Republican Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa's turn. She faced her constituents at a town hall she held at 7:30 in the morning.
So when we're talking about the corrections in this reconciliation bill, again, it's corrections of overpayments and people that have not been eligible for these programs by law as it is currently written. So when you are arguing about illegals that are receiving Medicaid benefits, 1.4 million, 1.4, they are not eligible, so they will be coming off. So people are not, well, we all are going to die. So for heaven's sakes, folks, okay, no, but what you don't want to do is listen to me when I say that we are going to focus on those that are most vulnerable. Those that meet the eligibility requirements for Medicaid, we will protect. We will protect them.
Just to be clear, there's like 10 million plus American citizens that are going to be kicked off Medicaid, according to the CBO's own estimates, again, run by a Republican currently. Now, I suppose the best thing that can be said about that response from Joni Ernst, we're all going to die, is that it is, I suppose, a refreshingly honest articulation of what I would say is a kind of a core Republican ethos, at least when it comes to policymaking for the poor and vulnerable. It's an ethos we have seen time and time again, particularly remember during the COVID pandemic, you saw a fair amount of Republican members at the time saying, you know, we're all going to die. As you might expect, a reception for the senator's answer has not been glowing. It immediately made headlines both locally in Iowa and across the nation. Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts tagged Ernst's words as the Republicans' new pitch for their bill, while Senator Tina Smith of Minnesota quipped, quote, "I thought my job as senator was to try to keep my constituents alive." Having said all that, this is a 1,000-page bill. There's a lot more wildly destructive stuff that's hiding in there that's flying under the radar. We're going to cover some of it as this goes on. One example is a very, very small but dangerous provision that is meant to aid Donald Trump's assault on the federal judiciary, the only one of the three branches of government providing any semblance of oversight to his reckless and often illegal agenda. Now, the provision that the House Republicans put in the bill could allow him to skirt federal contempt orders, things that his Department of Justice has been flirting with basically day in, day out. This week, voters tried to make Republican Congressman Mike Flood of Nebraska answer for that.
I do not agree with that section that was added to that bill. This provision was unknown to me when I voted for the bill.
This morning, Senator Ernst was also made to answer for it.
As I'm sure you're aware, but apparently many of the representatives were not aware at the time, nestled within the 1,000 pages of this bill was a small clause which, for the first time in our nation's history, in fact, effectively prohibits the federal courts from enforcing contempt orders. So, ma'am, my question for you today is, will you pledge to us, our constituents who you serve, that you will not vote for this bill or any other bill that contains this poisonous provision?
Okay, and thank you for clarifying. So one thing that I will explain, because we have a lot of subject matter experts here in the room, is that the House has written one version of a bill. The Senate is taking up our own version of the bill. The two will be married together at some point. There is a rule called the Byrd Rule. Silence. So the Byrd Rule states that anything that goes into our package in the Senate, it can't be policy. It can't be policy. It has to be focused on mandatory spending. I don't know anything about that provision that talks about mandatory spending or revenues.
Now, I just got to say something real quick in that I think a little condescending lecture to our own constituents. The Byrd Rule is enforced by the Senate parliamentarian who the Senate Republican majority just completely overrode last week to take out California's electric car vehicle regulations. There's no reason to think they're going to listen to the parliamentarian this time.
We walk with one another, always going the same direction to the same destination back home. And as you're walking, and sometimes, even when you don't exit, there may be rocks, thorns, there may be things that we have to endure and walk right over and through. And your brothers and sisters will be there for you because you are a family. This is incredibly important to your Father because He's always wanted you to know that your brothers and sisters are your family. And the angels in heaven call you brother and sister because we are a family. We've always been a family. You see, we're the aliens and we're going back home. However, there is one who will always come and get you in your time of need. This is Jesus. For it was Jesus that walked the walk. It was Jesus that came here and said, I'm from above, you are from beneath. You see, He was trying to tell them, me and my people are not of this world. It was Jesus who was mocked, laughed at, kidnapped, beaten, and murdered by the same beings who hate you now. It is the same beings who work 24/7 to take you off the path that you are on. It is the same beings who want you to choose their way of lies, deceit, and filth over Jesus. It is the same beings that want you to worship men and put all your faith in men when you will always be failed. Whenever you put your faith in a man, you are going to be let down, and God will make sure of this Father, who we call Father. Remember that. He's not your God, He's your Father. He will always make sure that you fail when you put your trust in anything but Him. Him. He always rescues His children in their time of need because He knows those that say, I'm not leaving. I'm holding on to you forever. And this pleases Him. You're never alone. You've never been alone. You didn't walk out of Africa. You didn't come from sludge. You're not an accident. There's never been a moment of your life that your Father, not God, your Father. See, God is a title. Father is what He's your Father. It's intimate, it's personal, it's deep. What could be more deeper than when you call this God, Jehovah, Father? You're His son and daughter. It doesn't get any tighter. You see, we're a family. We're aliens. There's never been a moment that your Father did not know where you were and what you were doing, whether it be good or bad. Your Father brought you to this point, and He is pleased that you walk in His truth. We share these words, the words of power and truth. Proverbs 6, in all thy ways acknowledge Him, your Father, and He shall direct thy paths. Acknowledge Him in every way, and He will keep you on the path. Psalm 25:4. Show me thy ways, O Lord. Teach me thy paths. Your Father is the greatest teacher. Your Father loves you. Your Father will take care of you. He will provide for you. When the world is falling to pieces, God can make sure that you have everything that you need. You hold on to Him. And what did He give you? He gave you a part of Himself in Jesus. And Jesus came and said, I'm not of this world. And my children were not of this world.